presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Florida.
Sundays in San Diego are a military celebration. Time for a parade. Bust out the heavy artillery. Giancarlo Stanton is in a patriotic mood. 3 blasts against the Padres. So stand up and salutes. Get ready for Marlins and Padres. It is a great tradition in baseball. The Sundays in San Diego, always a salute to the military. Jeep presents Miami and San Diego, Marlins and Padres. Beautiful Petco Park. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollingsworth. Wild game last night, 11 innings last night. Miami wins the game, lots of heroics, and now a chance to win this series.
Yeah, a lot of fun last night. The boys came out and dug deep and found a way to win a baseball game. Love the fact that they're swinging and hitting for power right now. Martin Prado, boy, had some major impact last night. Great win.
Whether you're in the military or whether you're a fan, you got to love watching Giancarlo Stanton hit. And Stanton on the West Coast has always been good. On this trip, he's heated up. He's been dominant here in San Diego.
What's so amazing about it is I was told this before coming on the trip that Giancarlo Stanton loves to hit on the West Coast and obviously loves to hit for power, as we've witnessed all trip long. He's made quick work of it. That's the thing that's been most impressive. I mean, we've gotten out west and it's 1-0 fastball, gone. 0-0 fastball, gone. 1-0 fastball, gone. He has been honing in on the fastballs out over the plate, or as hitters would say, the first good fastball he gets, and he's putting his best swing on it right now, and it's producing long home runs.
West Coast resume centered at Petco Park. 18 games here, 8 home runs. Look at the OPS. Hits in 14 and 2 two-homer games.
You ask to break it down, it's very difficult to do. Sometimes as hitters, you just feel good in certain ballparks on the road, and this is one of those places. Clearly, San Diego is a happy spot for Giancarlo. When he gets in that box, he feels like he's at home.
Heck, San Diego is a feel-good place regardless. I mean, it's sunny, it's San Diego. Everybody's in kind of a groove right now, including Martin Prado with the bat and certainly with the glove last night. Jessica Blaylock talks about the captain when we return. Military Sunday, big flyover here at Petco Park. Marlins and Padres and Jessica Blaylock in the sunshine. Hi, Jess.
Hey, Rich. Well, Martin Prado has been back from the disabled list for about a week now, and boy, what a difference he makes for the Marlins. We saw it last night, first with that home run in the 6th inning to tie the game, and then a couple of spectacular defensive plays in the 10th. They call Martin Prado captain for a reason. It's because everybody knows his importance to this ball club, both on and off the field.
He sets an example that's bar none. You know, even when he wasn't playing with us to start the season, he was texting us, telling us he was playing defense at home. So, you know, just to have a guy who's always in your corner, always, you know, team first, himself second. That's just a breath of fresh air to have for a ball club.
Yeah, he's always pushing everybody to the best limits, and I feel like for me it's been huge because I see myself in his mirror. He's now an everyday player who's really important for the club, and he used to be a backup. So I feel like I want to keep doing whatever he was doing when he was young.
Yeah, that pretty much won us the game last night. You know, if he doesn't make that play, then we end up losing. But we scored 4 runs the next half inning, and that was huge. But you know, he's been doing that for us for a few years now. And, you know, he's a great player. So you can never say enough about the guy, what he brings to the field every single day, both on the field and off. You know. But as you can see last night, those plays were huge for him. So just another thing, you know, always blown away by that guy.
You know, that was one of the reasons why I came here. I loved, you know, between the middle infield especially, and I played with Prado in Arizona a couple years, so I know what he's capable of over there, and it's still special to see him do it every night.
They migrate to him. If you watch the atmosphere in the clubhouse, eventually every player will go to him at some point in time during the day and ask for advice. That's invaluable.
We heard from Christian Yelich, who has also said, look, there are certain guys that show you how to be a professional in this game. Martin Prado is one of them. It is Military Appreciation Day here in San Diego. We've got baseball coming up next. It's first pitch in the series finale between the Padres and the Marlins. Rich Waltz and Todd Hollinsworth on the call.
Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by your South Florida Chevy dealers. By Jeep. Get great deals on the Jeep lineup at the Jeep Spring Clearance event and by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. Such a cool place is San Diego, and a Sunday afternoon is a special spot for baseball. So glad you're with us. Good to be here. Let's do some lineups, shall we, as we pedal around the Gaslamp Quarter. Southwest brings you D. Gordon, Martin Prado with a couple hits, including a homer yesterday. Christian Yelich looking for his first hit of the series. Giancarlo Stanton, 3 homers already in the 2 games here. Marcell Ozuna's in left. JT Realmuto behind the plate. Justin Bour's back in the lineup. Bour down in the 7th spot. Danny Echeverria made a brilliant defensive play last night. And Tom Kohler does the pitching and hits 9th. And the Marlins get set to face this young San Diego team and a starter that beat them last year in impressive fashion, and that is Luis Perdomo. Perdomo, little autograph. And here's the defense. Well, everybody here does some surfing.
That's right. Everybody in the surfing mode on this Sunday afternoon. Here's the Padres defense. Cordoba in left. Margot. He's had a great series in center field. Renfroe back over and right around the infield. Sardinius, Ibar, Solarte, Myers. Torres is going to do the catching, the 20-year-old. And Perdomo is going to be the Padres pitcher trying to get those outs. Only his 2nd start of the season. You see the numbers right there. Just off the disabled list, had some right shoulder inflammation. So again, this is coming right back. Marlins hitters are going to want to find out what he's got early. Now, 2 starts against them last year. He was outstanding. His numbers are going to tell you a totally different story, but they love the upside of this young man. Perdomo's got a big fastball, a good 2-seamer, and you're going to see a lot of that this afternoon.
Rule 5 draft pick last year. The injury, shoulder inflammation. So a quick 10-day stop on the disabled list. And here he is back into the rotation. D. Gordon getting ready. Marlins, of course, last night. And Padres went extra innings. A 6-3 win for the Fish in 11. What's your scouting report on Perdomo? Well, brought to you by Auto Nation.
As we just found out, he's coming off the disabled list, had some right shoulder inflammation. And again, that's something that you deal with in a shorter term. And I'm wondering how that's going to play out over time. Guys go into the disabled list. 10 days, he missed a few starts. Dominican Blur, you see it right there. 91 to 97 mile an hour fastball, 2-seamer. Lots of movement inside the strike zone. And there you go. This is only his 37th Major League game. Now 22 start, 22nd start, 2nd start this year. Made 20 of them last year. He's very rough around the edges. They love his upside. They love his makeup. But again, this is not somebody who's got a tremendous amount of big league experience other than last year.
I don't know why we even do the weather when we're in San Diego, because it's usually about the same. 68 degrees. You can see the humidity. The UV index for all of you needing some sunscreen. D. Gordon swings at the first pitch, drills it center field deep. Margot goes back at the track, makes the catch. D. Gordon gave it a real ride. And there's 1 out.
You see it right out of the gate. You're going to find out, get something up. Let it go. It's kind of been the theme of the Marlins on this trip. Very aggressive early in the count. Good fastball. Almost gets it out.
So 1 pitch and 1 out for Perdomo, and here is Prado, whose heroics were on both sides of the diamond. Defensively, the 2 terrific plays in the 10th to keep the game tied and get it to the 11th. And then offensively, that breaking ball that hung from Jared Weaver that Prado hit out to tie the game at 2.
I think it, in a lot of ways, tells the story of Martin Prado and his value to the Marlins, why they inked him to an extension last winter, or I should say at the end of last season, a $40 million deal. Last night for me summed it up. The home run, the 2 great defensive plays, and then the offense coming alive right after those defensive plays.
Perdomo coming right after Miami. He got Gordon on 1 pitch. He strikes out Prado here.
You're going to see the slider. He's going to introduce it right there. Again, as I said, you're going to see a lot of fastballs. These are a couple of pitches. His changeup as well are the 2 off-speed pitches that he's really been working on. Worked on them through the winter. We'll see if there's a difference in him this year compared to last year.
Christian Yelich. You see the series numbers, 0 for 9. Very un-Yelich-like. Yelich had a really nice series in Seattle. Looking for his first hit here in San Diego.
Well, would you agree? I mean, 3 weeks into this season, it's this soon-to-be all-star outfield, no doubt about it, playing at a very, very high level, have all taken turns being hot.
Yeah, that's the important thing. You're right. Ozuna was the player of the week. Stanton has been brilliant. Yelich as well has had his moments. And the Marlins outfield has popped 17 home runs. Yelich in the center field. There's a base hit. And a 2-out single. 17 home runs by the outfield is tops in Major League Baseball right now. And of course, one of those home runs came from Ichiro. And here's Stanton. And the show that he's put on here has been quite impressive. Talking to scouts before the ball game who have watched him for the last week, and they say very impressed with how locked in he is about going middle and going to right field. Remember, one of his homers was to right center against Brad Hand. Up the middle, off the base, and in the dirt, but picked by Myers. Solarte with a quick reaction to get Stanton. Scoreless start in San Diego. Of the late Tony Gwynn out in center field. Here come the Padres. It's a young team. Manuel Margot is a rookie in center. Eric Ibar, a veteran at short. Will Myers is the face of the franchise. Yangervis Solarte at second. Hunter Renfroe, rookie in right. Luis Sardinas is at third. Alan Cordoba is in left field. Luis Torrens is the catcher. And Luis Perdomo is on the mound and hitting ninth. And here is Tom Kohler.
Making his fourth start of the season, the 5.40 ERA, indicative more about his last start, which wasn't a good one against the Mariners, the first game of this road trip. Looking to get locked back in against this Padres team, in which he's got very, very good numbers. This is also his fourth career start against the Padres. Got a 2.14 ERA. You see the numbers right there. That's his last start up in Seattle.
Every ball game the Marlins have seen Manuel Margot. He shoots a ball to right. He's tripled, doubled, and now singled in all of his at-bats in the first inning.
Well, I promise you one thing, he's not going to hit a homer, so there you go. Marlins defense, there you go. Ozuna, he's going to be back out in left field. Yelich and Stanton, boy, oh boy, one of the best, if the best outfields in all of baseball. Prado, Echeverria, remember Rojas got to start yesterday. He had to leave the game with a leg injury. We'll follow up on that. Gordon, Moore, Real Muto, Tom Kohler on the mound.
Here is Eric Ibar with Margot at first. Long wait, Kohler steps off. Yeah, Margot doubled last night. Padres didn't get that run. Tripled, though, on Friday, and San Diego took a quick 1-0 lead. He's at first base wearing the blue camo, which is also a salute to the military and a tradition in San Diego. Slow roller. Bohr gets an out, and that's it. And the Padres have a runner in scoring position with one down. Will Myers coming up.
Tom Kohler saw that 5.40 ERA coming into today's ball game. The one side of the plate he's really struggled with is the lefties. The lefties have had a good run at him so far this season. 400 batting average, 4 homers, actually more walks than strikeouts. Now the Padres lineup today got a few switch hitters in it, but predominantly right. Should favor Tom and his efforts today.
Will Myers, a couple of hits, and certainly he's enjoyed the start of this 2017 season. That quick strike call is Paul Emmels, who's behind home plate. Quinn Walcott, Scott Berry, and Bill Miller are the other umpires. Got the shades going behind the plate. Does Emmel. .95 miles an hour with that fastball. And Kohler's out in front 1-2. This is a good park, at least historically, for Tom Kohler. He's made a couple of starts here, each in the last 2 years, and won both of those starts and given up just 2 earned runs, struck out 15 combined, and walked 5. So there's the career numbers in Petco Park. Of course, this lineup has very little to do with what he faced last year and the year before. This has been from a young team to a veteran team to a young team again. Mark McGuire, the bench coach for Andy Green, who's the young skipper here.
There's definitely some variables that are different year to year, but Will Myers clearly one of their constants. I mean, this is a guy in the middle of their lineup that they see as the future of the franchise. So they locked him up to a big deal. But for Tom Kohler, he's looked good so far.
And he strikes out Myers.
You know, one of the things that stands out about Tom Kohler, as he picks up his first strikeout right there, is that he's got to do a better job of throwing strikes. It's plain and simple. I mean, the numbers don't lie. So far this season, 57% of the time he's throwing strikes. That's not league average. I mean, league average right around 64, 65%. He's got to improve his ability to attack the strike zone and stay in the zone. Right now, he seems to be in a good spot. Good slider right there against Myers.
Solarte, Padres' second baseman. He was at third most of last year. And he swings and misses. And it's 0-1. And this Padres Sunday lineup has got a couple of their Rule 5 draft picks from this year in Cordoba and Torrens. And then Perdomo, who's starting, was a Rule 5 draft pick the year previous.
You'd almost label them, the Padres, in some way an organization of opportunity. And that's what a lot of these younger players are looking to capitalize on. It also speaks to their aggressiveness offensively, in my personal opinion. Young guys, they get this opportunity to get to the big leagues. You know, walking is sometimes not the easiest thing to do. You want to swing the bat. You want to go up there and show everybody what you're capable of doing. And think back to last night, Dan Straley, how he exploited the strike zone and got a lot of swing and misses outside that zone. A lot of young hitters.
That's soft into right center field. That's going to chase home a run. Solarte with a hit. San Diego's on the board.
Mentioned it right at the top of the show, the inability to really command the left-handed hitters. You see the where the location of that pitch is. Up at the letters. Easy to level off right there. It's a slider. It's not his fastball. He's able to get his hands through and shoot it into center field. Lefties came in with a 400 batting average against Tom Kohler, and you see the frustration right there as it continues.
Here is Renfroe. Hunter Renfroe, the right fielder for the Padres. And one of their top draft picks over the last few years. First round, 13th overall in 2013. A star at Mississippi State. Into the bat, Prado fires to second in time, but San Diego is on the board. Another Manuel Margot hit, knocked in by Solarte. And a 1-0 start. Padres are on top. Marlins ballpark pass. Get to the ultimate flexibility, convenience of mobile ticketing, and excitement of Marlins baseball. Just $199. 20 mobile tickets you can use for home games in April, May, or June. Some restrictions apply. Marcell Ozuna's up. And Luis Perdomo, the Dominican Blur. I like that nickname. Misses in. Ozuna, JT Realmuto, and Justin Bour. And Ozuna pulls that one off his foot and foul. And the count's 1 ball and 1 strike. Marlins had a 2-out single by Christian Yelich. And that was it in the first inning. One thing to watch tonight, or today rather, getting closer tonight on the East Coast, and that is a young catcher behind the plate, just 20 years old, and that's Luis Torrens. Torrens is a Rule 5 draft pick who had never played a day over Single A before the Padres took him in the Rule 5 draft. 161 games in Single A baseball, and here he is catching in the big leagues. Knee-high strike with good sink on it.
Well, it's quite a statement for an organization to take such a young catcher and reach out and give him that opportunity. And most organizations really want to let a guy blossom. You see sometimes guys will end up in the minor leagues for an additional year or 2 for that blossoming that I'm talking about. Here is this young man, 20 years old, catching in the big leagues for the Padres.
Fastball in. And the Rule 5 draft, as Ozuna has drawn a walk, Rule 5 draft means this. Major league organizations have players on their rosters, and they can protect players, only a certain amount of players. And that's to keep teams from stockpiling talent and preventing players from advancing or getting to the major leagues. So if you're not on the 40-man roster and you've had a certain amount of time in the minor leagues and you're not protected, other teams in what's called the Rule 5 draft can take that player. The hitch is the team that drafts the player has to keep him in the big leagues the entire season and can't send him down. If they do try to send him down, the team that lost that player can buy him back. I think it's $50,000 to draft a player in the Rule 5 draft, and if you have to send him back, it's $25,000.
Well, and a lot of times what's unique about it is that, you know, stashing a player at the major league level is okay to do if it's a middle infielder or maybe an additional outfielder, but when you're carrying an extra catcher.
High pop-up on the infield. You see the sun in Ibar's glasses, and he makes a side saddle catch.
Now, carrying that extra catcher is quite unique. I mean, he's not in a position where he's probably going to get a whole lot of pinch hitting opportunities or, you know, double switching. But at the same time, he still finds himself in the big league and getting a few opportunities to try to impress.
Andy Green is carrying 3 Rule 5 picks on his 25-man roster. That's almost unheard of.
Yes, it is.
In fact, I've never heard of that. But I'm sure it's happened.
That's unheard of.
I'm sure it's happened somewhere. I've seen teams that have had a couple,
right,
but not 3. And then, of course, Perdomo was a Rule 5 pick last year. Here's Bohr. And Justin takes in all of the heroics last night. Bohr had a hand in it. And that was a pinch hit appearance in the 11th against a lefty, Carlos Torres. And Bohr hit a line drive single to center, and that started the inning. Miami would score 4 times. Bohr, of course, had that race around the bases in front of D. Gordon on a little dribbler that was thrown away. Stanton would hit a 2-run homer later in the inning.
Yeah, this is a very interesting alignment here with Perdomo on the mound. As we told you, the 2-seam fastball. You see the Padres have him played to pull. They're anticipating that. But if Justin Bohr actually, the way his 2-seamer works, it runs away from Bohr, he could shoot the ball the other way if he's able to stay on it.
He was trying to do it there.
Right.
He was very good at that last year, and he's done it a few times this year. And that is hit against the shift.
Well, I mean, the interesting part about it is, like, even that the Padres are willing to do this, knowing what Bohr is likely going to do. You see the shifting going on right there over to the side. Now, he does have 2 strikes on him, but just about everything he throws works away from Bohr.
Hits by direction. Bohr, a pretty good spreadsheet, so to speak. 4 to left, 4 to right, 3 up the middle. Ozuna's at first. There's 1 out. Perdomo goes in. Bohr hits it into the teeth of the shift. Out there, and the relay is not in time. Good slide by Ozuna. That's a difficult turn for Ibar, trying to come across and turn it.
Now, this is a nice job by the Padres in executing the pitch. They want that fastball in. Now, Bohr certainly knows about it, and we talked about going the other way, but when you've got 2 strikes, you've got to protect. It's not about hitting against the shift. It's actually more about putting the ball in play. And you see right there, it becomes about execution for the Padres. Execute the pitch, get the said result. You see the ground ball to the right side.
So Adeiny Echeverria is up now. It's a good slide out there by Ozuna. Ibar was kind of caught in the lane, and Echeverria pulls it foul. Remember last night the Padres challenged a slide by JT Realmuto and thought that he had violated the slide rule. He did not. Echeverria trying to get going. Adeiny just 4 for 25 to start his season. Off the disabled list for this series, and 0 for 5 here. Perdomo comes in. It's a ball and a strike.
We're seeing a much improved slider from Perdomo.
1-2. And that one fouled off. And the count stays at 1-2. Echeverria coming off the disabled list, that injury to his side. He made a spectacular defensive play last night, going to his right, sliding in the hole and throwing out a fast runner. And he smokes one into center field. That's a base hit. A 2-out single, second hit for Miami. And Tom Kohler now comes to the plate.
Well, we told you that he was going to make some mistakes. That's what the numbers tell you. You see the higher ERA from last year and the hits per innings pitched tell you that Marlins should be able to do some damage against Perdomo. That's a mistake right there. Did not have the sink or the run to it. That two-seam fastball straightened out. Echeverria bangs it right through the middle.
Kohler's 1 for 4 this year. And he takes strike one. Those are career numbers. 18 hits. He does have a double.
I'm going to stick to much improved this year. I'm just going to leave it alone. I've seen too many bad pitching numbers, hitting numbers from the pitchers, but they've been much improved. They really have.
And as a whole, Miami pitchers going into play last night were tied in the National League for most hits. Of course, the total was 5. That was tied with the Cubs.
Take it. Especially with the batting averages they've been running out there. 0.92s and 108s.
That's strike 3. Perdomo strikes out Kohler. Miami leaves 2. And in San Diego, the Padres are up 1-0. In San Diego, this is such a great spot to stop. With more on the military influence in this military day, here's Jessica Blaylock.
Well, Rich, it's perfect because today is Military Appreciation Day here at Petco Park, and the Padres are honoring the Air Force and the Air Force Reserve. So before first pitch, they brought both men and women who serve in that branch down to the field to participate in some pregame festivities. About 20 people even took their oath of service for the Air Force Reserves, and just a really nice day. We saw a second lieutenant from the Air Force perform the national anthem. Rich, you mentioned it earlier, the camouflage uniforms that the Padres, where this team and all teams around Major League Baseball do such a wonderful job honoring the military.
All right, thank you, Jess, especially here in San Diego, which is has a great history of a military service in this area. We will carry God Bless America as well in the 7th inning stretch. Tom Kohler back to work, bottom 2nd. Padres got a run in the 1st. Luis Sardinas, Alan Cordoba, and Luis Torrens for San Diego. The Padres are at 8-11 now. Miami at 9-8. And the Fish looking for a chance to win this series and get to 500 on the road trip. Remember, Seattle took 2 of 3 in this one tied at a game apiece. And by the way, the Marlins are headed to Philadelphia. The Phillies went back to back to sweep the Braves. Cesar Hernandez, Aaron Altair, and Odubel Herrera all hit home runs. And a 5-2 win for the Phils over the Braves and a sweep. And so the Phils are just a game under 500 now. Marlins will be in Philadelphia for 3. Pittsburgh today beat the Yankees 2-1. Marlins have the Pirates next Friday at Marlins Park. Washington just continues to play great baseball. They play the Mets tonight. They've taken the first 2 there. The Mets are at 8-10. That's a swing and a miss, smothered by Real Muto, and Sardinas is out.
Their starting pitching, the National starting pitching in that series has been absolutely outstanding. Gio Gonzalez had a no-hitter into the 6th inning, I believe it was yesterday. Cold temperatures up in the Northeast. Obviously not the case out here in San Diego, but this series, Rich, you had mentioned it a few seconds ago, how important it is. These are series, we talk about, the growth curve and what a team and organization is looking to do to improve. A lot of fun conversation. Who doesn't love to talk about the talent that the Marlins have on the field, what the outfield's been able to accomplish in the early going. But when you come into a city and you play a team like the Padres, who have a roster with 3 Rule 5 guys on it who are in a little bit of a different position, you say to yourself, you want to take 2 or 3. You almost necessitate it. It's almost a conversation in the clubhouse. It's not one of those things where everybody's walking around telling each other, we've got to do this or we've got to do that. But you think that way. These are games that you want because you feel like you're the better team and you're more prepared to win.
I spent some time in the manager's office, Andy Green, and I spent some time in Don Mattingly's office today, getting the temperature of both teams. Green said that it's not only managing, but it's also teaching. And he pointed to that play last night that ended up down the right field line as a teaching moment. Unfortunately, he said a very painful teaching moment, which cost the team 2 runs in the 11th. And Cordoba's one of the guys that left fielder at the plate right now, 21-year-old out of Panama. And a Rule 5 draft pick from the St. Louis Cardinals. He lines it into left field. That's a hit. So a 1-out single for a guy that was in rookie ball last year. That's amazing, really.
Andy Green has had, I'm sure he's been applauded many times for his patience and, to your point, the ability to teach. I mean, that's part of it. I mean, you're going to have brilliant moments where young players do things that surprise you and encourage you and excite you for the future, and then there's going to be plays like last night's ball game that are going to make you lose your hair.
Right. Look, I think the profile of a guy like Green is perfect for this team, because if you put a veteran manager in here that is expecting to win, he's probably not going to have a lineup in a game like this where he's got 2 Rule 5 picks back-to-back in the order, and Cordoba and Torrens, and is pitching another Rule 5 guy from last year. And that's the teaching part.
The real fun part about those circumstances is watching the growth and being rewarded with the youth. I mean, he believes in his younger players and even his Rule 5 guys the way nobody else around baseball does. That's how they ended up in the positions that they're in.
And that's not to say that a manager like Green won't be able to win at the major league level. Now, I think back to the early days in St. Pete with Joe Maddon and the Rays when he arrived. There was not a tradition of winning, and Maddon had young players, had to develop some guys, and then little by little they got better, and all of a sudden there they were, a young team that blossomed and was able to compete and contend. And it was Maddon that took them from the very start, the young phase, into the postseason phase.
Can be done. There's no reason why it can't. In fact, I think most people we always believe and hope that the manager gets the opportunity to see the process all the way through. A lot of times, though, in the industry, it just doesn't work that way. Either sometimes ownership gets tired of waiting, or the process takes a little bit too long, or there's some divide, or there's a change in organizational philosophy. But to that point, a lot of times you do, or occasionally I should say, not a lot of times, but it has happened enough to where you see a Joe Maddon get the opportunity to stay with it.
Struck him out. Kohler gets a strikeout, and as a special added bonus, he gets to face Perdomo, the pitcher, with a runner at first and 2 outs.
Good two-seam fastball right here on the outside corner. Look at that. See a little zip right there as it kind of works its way back. Right there. Starts to work its way back to the outside corner. Call it an unhittable pitch, but that is a tough pitch to deal with for Torrens, and best he would have done right there is probably foul it off. Tom Kohler, strikeout number 3.
Perdomo with a big swing and a miss. I think an example of a manager that was not able to follow through with a young rebuilding team and ride it all the way out. Just go back to Joe Maddon, and it's Rick Renteria in Chicago. And it's great to see a former Marlin get an opportunity to manage back in the big leagues with the White Sox this year.
And to that point, they wanted to accelerate the process, and that's your point, and certainly my point as well. On top of that is that the circumstances changed. He was the right guy for the job in year number 1 and did a really good job in Chicago, but they saw the clock speeding up, and they had an opportunity to bring Joe Maddon in, who had already lived through that process and just got him farther along. Now Rick Renteria on the south side has a young team.
Prado, nice pick, little flip, and an uneventful second for Tom Kohler. 1-0 San Diego. Padres on top. And how about Prado and his day yesterday?
Oh! It was not my back. That was the home run I was watching right there. Hanging breaking ball. You see it right there. Beautiful swing. How about this play? Oh, to the forehand. Beautiful. Gets the out at second base. And here it is. That's a pitch later, people. Hadn't even caught his breath yet. Here you go. That was all about testing Martin Prado. Gets it done and sets the stage. Following inning, Marlins offense comes to life.
Prado due up second this inning. It's the top of the order in the second look at Luis Perdomo, who has struck out 2, walked 1, and given up 2 hits. D. Gordon hit one about 395 feet to straightaway center. He takes a breaking ball that misses out, and it's a ball and a strike. The ball girl makes that play there. Now remember earlier in this series on an Ichiro ball that was fair. I don't know that that's the same young lady, but she popped out the other night on Friday night, snared a ball. Gordon hits that one to Solarte. There's one out. All right, here it is. Take a look. And you know, the form and everything was very good. She got a piece of it. That's a triple, says D. Gordon. Unfortunately for Ichiro, he was given a double. And it took about 30 seconds for her to realize that when the security guard said, you know, that was a fair ball. Perdomo misses out to Martin Prado. You got Christian Yelich behind him. Marlins headed to Philly. Off day tomorrow. 3-gamer against the Phils. Starts Tuesday night. Yeesh.
See that two-seam fastball get away from Perdomo right there. He's been actually expanding his pitches pretty well today, although we've seen this one. Now Martin Prado stands a little close to the plate. This is about the second or third time we've seen this one. He's got good run on that fastball, especially to the right-handed hitters. That one gets a little too close for comfort.
It's a good comeback pitch after you've gone up and in.
And that's the one thing that's impressed me the first time through the lineup. Seeing him for the first time and understanding, where his struggles were last year. His breaking pitch was not this effective.
Prado takes an inside fastball, pulls it to Sardinas. A couple of ground ball outs for Perdomo. Even on Sunday, we are obligated to tell you that this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. I always feel like I'm supposed to read the VIN number after that. A little old school jersey and a new age hat or cap.
I like that old school jersey.
Yelich takes up and outs. Christian sharp grounder into center field for a hit back in the first. Goes after that breaking ball you've talked about, and he missed.
Well, it's a pitch he's certainly building confidence with in this start. This only his second start 2017 season.
Of course, the Padres are in the West, and the West right now is upside down. The Rockies are at 12-6. Diamondbacks are 12-7, and both teams are winning right now. Rockies are shutting out the Giants 8-0 up in Denver. And the Diamondbacks have a 2-0 lead over the Dodgers in Phoenix. That's in the top of the fourth. And so Colorado and Arizona on top. Dodgers, Padres, and then the Giants are at 6-12. I know the Bumgarner injury hurt, but they were struggling before he went out.
Well, it's added some insult to injury right there. Unfortunately, with the Madison Bumgarner injury. Right. Listening to even a lot of the guys, Buster Posey and a lot of guys who've obviously spoken since the injury. Very down on their luck, kind of very just matter of fact. You have to move forward. You're not going to replace Madison Bumgarner. That's the issue. So.
And I think a lot of people around baseball couldn't be happier that the Rockies are succeeding, because the manager is Bud Black, who's extremely well liked and well respected, who had a great run here in San Diego. Here's Stanton now. You see the home run rate. Eric Thames from Milwaukee lighting the National League on fire right now.
It's got a very favorable count for Stanton here in San Diego. Attacking that 1-0 fastball. To your point on the Rockies, yeah, I think a lot of people were kind of waiting. Is this, they're going to keep the group together? Are they going to hold on to Cargo? Are they going to hold on to Blackmon? They've got a very talented outfield as well. Some good offense, always obviously at altitude, but the pitching, good young pitching. John Gray and some.
1-1 to Stanton and a throw to first. Yelich is back. Yelich was running last night on that laser homer to left in the 11th. Stanton sent up into the Western Metal Supply Company. He was leaning there, and he's back in time.
Why not think about going? Perdomo, 60%, 59, just over 59%. Shouldn't get to quite 60, but ground ball rate last year, absolutely outstanding. Second best in the National League, actually second best in baseball at getting ground balls. And this is a slider right here. You see Stanton going after it. Feeling pretty good about things right now.
See if he gets that slider again. 1-2. He did, and it's out, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. 7 homers in 10 games has propelled Stanton up to 7 on the season. He's driven in 14. Check swing. Did he go? He did. Stanton's not happy. Throws the helmet, throws the bat. But a strikeout for Perdomo. That's close. Rescue here in San Diego. 1-0, Padres on top. Sunday on the 30th. That's next Sunday, a week from today. Marlins and Pirates at 1:10. You can get the Aquafina Family 4-pack. Get 4 tickets, 4 Nathan's hot dogs, 4 Pepsi soft drinks, or Aquafina waters, and it starts at $84. Kids can run the bases in the Diamond Dash after the game. Tom Kohler, second time through for the Padres. Manuel Margot led off with a single. And he scored on a 2-out hit by Yangervis Solarte. And Margot is back on. This is a guy that's taking advantage. He reminds me of, with the Phillies, and the Marlins are just about to see the Phillies, Odubel Herrera. Herrera was with the Texas Rangers, was an infielder and a Rule 5 pick. The Phillies in a transition year threw him out there for the full season, and lo and behold, Herrera not only transitioned into center field, but he transitioned into a really nice offensive player.
Well, Margot's had a really nice series the last 3 games we've seen him, using the right field corner, going the other way, staying inside the baseball. In fact, he's kind of fallen into a pattern.
He's running. Real Muto's throw is on the bag, and he is out. Boy, that was a great jump. Real Muto's throw was perfect, right on the bag. Look how big this jump is.
1, 2, 3, 4. Got a 4-step jump. You counted it right there, but look how quick JT Real Muto, my goodness gracious, out from underneath. And as I've said it time and time again this year, what side of the bag is that throw on? The right side of the bag, the first base side of the bag, and that's how he gets his man.
Padres are going to challenge this. So San Diego will challenge it. The tag by Echeverria got down quickly. It was bang bang, there's no question about that. But the Padres video room must have seen something. And we'll take a few more looks at it as well.
Remember, there's got to be enough to overturn it. Can't be 50-50.
Well, it's bang bang there. And there's not.
Can't tell there.
Can't tell there either. Although it looked like the glove got the left hand. You see the second base umpire there, Scott Berry. He had a pretty good seat at it. So our 2 looks indicate he's out. And that didn't take long. I mean, that's what we saw as well.
Here's the look we were hoping for. Yeah, he's out.
He's out. So that's, there's a couple things in play here. Number one, the baseball strategy is, when do you challenge? The other thing, we've heard it from Don Mattingly, we've heard it from other managers. In the air, Prado needs some help. Echeverria sees it. Prado thought it was headed to him, and he started to panic a bit. The one thing we've seen, we've heard it from Don Mattingly, and we've heard it from other managers, is that the 30-second limit now really puts a lot of pressure on the coach that is watching the video, because you have, remember, it took us 45 seconds to a minute to look at a couple of replays and get an idea. The coaches in these video rooms only get about 30 to 40 seconds before they have to say yes or no. Will Myers to left. Ozuna is there, and he makes the catch. Tom Kohler through the third. 1-0 San Diego. by T-Mobile. How about Dan Straley? How about 14 strikeouts? Time for the second most in club history. Ricky Nolasco has the record at 16. Third Marlin with 14 strikeouts and no walks. And that bottom one that you had last night, third in baseball ever with 14 strikeouts and less than 100 pitches.
That is amazing. That when you think about 14 strikeouts, no walks, but to do that in less than 100 pitches, 97 pitches, that the number was last night. I mean, that's unheard of, really.
Now, Miami is trying to solve Luis Perdomo. If you turn back the clock to late August last year, Perdomo, in his Rule 5 year, first year in the big leagues, threw a complete game 6-hitter against the Marlins in Miami.
His only.
Yep, gave up 1 run, and he did it with ground balls. He had 5 double play ground balls, and the Padres turned all 5 of those.
Well, they no doubt believe in him. I mean, the numbers that I saw, as anybody from last year, aren't overly encouraging. But you see the effort right there, 99 pitches in 9 innings. The CG, the only CG of his career. But you see the movement, and you see the frustration from Marlins hitters. There's no doubt. They've changed their game. You know, I would almost use the phrase, as we say in baseball terms, effectively wild at times. I mean, that pitch is working off the plate. Remember the pitch up and into Martin Prado, that 2-seamer that straightens you up as a righty?
And the slider right now is really kicked in. A strikeout of Ozuna. He struck out Stanton. So 4 strikeouts now for Perdomo.
Well, you see what the Padres love about him, too. Let's not forget he throws 97 right there. That ball is in the zone, in the middle of the plate when it starts out and ends up at the shoe tops. Ozuna can't hold up.
Here's JT Realmuto. You got Justin Bour also scheduled. Realmuto 3 hits in the series. Gets jammed on a fastball. Renfroe is out there and he makes the catch. And Perdomo just keeps chugging along. Philadelphia, such a big series that Preston Wilson will be on the ground, boots on the ground. We've got Preston Wilson and Jessica Blaylock hosting Marlins Live from Philly on Tuesday night, 6:30 for Marlins Live. It's a Twitter Tuesday. Wei-Yin Chen and Vince Velasquez, the hard thrower. A lot going on in Philadelphia next week. The NFL draft is there. The Marlins and the Phillies are there.
Such a big deal. We're staying in Delaware, I believe. Is that correct?
That's right. Wilmington, Delaware.
Let's go where I'm told.
I've not been to Delaware before. I think I've driven maybe through or around, but never stayed in Delaware. And I've been told we have a beautiful hotel in Wilmington. It's not that far from the ballpark and the Phillies and cheesesteaks. And Bour swings and misses, and it's 1-2.
See the effectiveness of that slider. 85, 86 miles an hour. Really starting to lean on that pitch.
Two balls, 2 strikes. 20 starts last year for Perdomo. An ERA in the mid-5s and a 9-10 record. So it was not an easy season. That slider hung a bit. It stays at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's what Marlins hitters have to do. They just kind of have to weather the storm right now. Perdomo locked in. You see the velocity. Good movement down in the zone. 58 pitches, 36 strikes.
And there's the slider, and there's another strikeout. Justin Bour goes down. Perdomo is on a roll. Bottom 4. Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock. Oh, look at that. Does that say fish taco? Yeah. Wait a minute, is that ice cream? Whoa. Hey, look at the shades. Oh, Jesus. You know, that's one thing you love about Jess. She's not shy when it comes to eating.
Especially when it comes to ice cream.
Well, look, you deserve it. Let's face it. Here's Solarte.
Thank you.
At the start of this, you know, really actually started 2 weeks ago when we heard that they were serving grasshoppers in Seattle. And the challenge went out to Jess that she's going to eat grasshoppers. She accepted, and if you missed it, you really missed. I don't know if we have a shot of her face eating those grasshoppers. But she was a great sport in Seattle, tried the grasshoppers, didn't like them, so now she's rewarding herself. Is that fish taco and ice cream?
It's a much different look.
Fish tacos
today.
and ice cream.
Interesting, at the same time, too.
Yeah, I'm going to get back to it, guys.
All right.
Hello, my name is Betty.
Tom Kohler facing Yangervis Solarte. And Kohler, a 4-pitch walk to open up the 4th inning.
Tom's done a pretty good job of weathering this storm. I would call it the Perdomo storm right now. He's in such a groove that it looks like the Marlins are going to have to find a way to scrap some offense together. Giving up that leadoff single and run in the 1st inning. Kind of kept things in check. 4-pitch walk right there to Solarte.
Hunter Renfroe. And it's 1-0 to him. That's 5 balls to start this 4th inning. There's your Padre box score. Manuel Margot once again led off with a hit, as he has in all 3 games of the series, and he scored on a Solarte single. Center field deep. Yelich going back, and it's gone. (3-0) San Diego. 3rd of the season for the rookie right fielder Hunter Renfroe.
We talked about it. 5 balls in a row. So he's thinking swing. He's thinking be aggressive. Watch this. This is a slider at the top of the zone. Remember last night, Jared Weaver, that pitch he threw to Martin Prado? This one looks very similar to it. And you see what happens to hanging breaking balls up there. They get hit a long way.
That one is ripped to right. Stanton is there, and he has it. And Sardinas hit it hard. So San Diego and Andy Green is up 3-0 right now. There's your rookies. Renfroe now with 4. And Margot now with 3. Here is Cordoba. He singled back in the 2nd. The long ball has hurt Kohler. This is start number 4, and he's given up 6.
You see it right there. Jared Weaver, the Marlins got after 2 last night. Top of that list with 7. about the strike percentage that Tom Kohler has struggled with here in the early going. What happens to hitters? They get into hitters' counts. They get more aggressive. They think more aggressive. Even that pitch right there, you'd say, well, he's thrown 5 straight balls. Why would he swing at a slider up in the zone? Well, young hitter's thinking, wait, this is a hitter's count. I'm looking to be aggressive. He's sitting fastball, but he gets the mistake up in the zone, so he's already in swing mode right there.
Full count, 3-2. Bouncer up the middle. Echeverria, that is a nice play. And there's 2 outs.
Let's take another look at Etch up the middle. Goodness gracious, great athleticism right by the bag. Steps over it, quick release. I talk about it all the times with him offensively because I see so much from him defensively. The quick exchange, those quick hands, able to get to the throw and get it off in time to get a pretty speedy base runner in Cordova.
I know David Ross was a hit on Dancing with the Stars, but I'll bet you Echeverria would flat out win it. His footwork and his rhythm is just incredible to watch on a daily basis.
He's that kind of athlete. And again, that has been my defense for more offense from him. It really has. I've been asked, Echeverria, could he do more offensively? When I see him as athletic as he is, as gifted as he is, as quick as his hands are, I think more offense, absolutely. First sign of great hitters, Tony Gwynn. The great Tony Gwynn had some of the best hands in baseball. Can stay inside of baseball, use his hands to find the barrel and find the ball.
That's a foul ball off the bat of Torrens. 3-0 San Diego, and another home run too. The long ball, I noted that for Kohler that's 5, but everybody's been bit kind of by the long ball bug. Austin Hedges got Dan Straley on a night where Straley had some of the best stuff in his career. Hedges got David Phelps in the first game. Remember that, a big 3-run homer. Seattle had some big home runs in that series, especially in game 1 of the series. Cano, Cruz, Taylor Motter. You almost got your wish. High fastball. It came close, but down just a little bit.
Tell you what, if you're down there in the front row, you better be heads up because the ricochet was it's pretty solid. It's a velocity going back down.
As strike 3 called, but the Padres add 2 on Hunter Renfroe's 4th homer of the season. Brought to you by Jeep. Get great deals on the Jeep lineup at the Jeep Spring Clearance event. And by Kaiser University. Learn more at kaiseruniversity.edu. Padres, a 3-0 lead. And Luis Perdomo has stifled the fish. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. We talked about Perdomo. Here's a young guy, a Rule 5 draft pick last year. He stuck it in the fish ear, so to speak, in August through a complete game, and he's back at it. What's making this guy so effective?
Well, I'll tell you, not to mention the two-seam 97-mile-an-hour fastball that I was raving about coming in, as I was told to rave about, because this kid's got a live arm. His slider's been outstanding, and you kind of get a glimpse of the curve. Last year, talking to the San Diego guys, this kid's got a good arm, but his breaking pitch is okay, his changeup's okay. Sometimes he'll get himself into trouble. What you've seen today is a guy who's in complete control, clearly confident in his stuff, mixing his pitches really, really well.
And getting quick outs as well as Echeverria bounces out. He's rolling through the lineup. And, sometimes these teams are the toughest to play. A young team with nothing to lose. They've got a couple of Rule 5 guys in the lineup. Renfroe, a rookie, just popped his 4th home run of the season.
Well, this Padres team has got some guys that are, swinging for the fences. We've seen it. With that comes the home run ball, as we've seen. Talked about Hedges in the first 2 games of the series. Renfroe as well. We've seen the power. They'll strike out as well. I mean, that's the other thing. So you've got to make your pitches. You've got to be smart. But if you make mistakes, they're the kind of team that will make you pay for those mistakes. And then you look at the Marlins offensively. They're starting to become a lot more aggressive early in the count because Perdomo is really filling it up. He's been throwing so many strikes that it's actually getting them to swing earlier and earlier.
Kohler behind in the count, 0-2. And the slider just misses the outside part of the plate. Little dribbler off the mound. That Ibar hurries over to first. A couple of ground ball outs to short here in the 5th. Geico presents this moment in Marlins history. Livan Hernandez, complete game, 9-hitter. He walked 2, struck out 9, and of course, in true Livan fashion, was 2 for 3. First career homer. This was back in '99, and knocked in 4.
Shouldn't be surprised at Livan's offensive exploits. He can always swing that bat.
Well, and a complete game as well. I'm trying to think. I want to say it was 2006 or so. Watched Livan Hernandez throw a complete game for the Nationals against the Marlins. And I need to look it up, but I think he threw like 145 pitches.
Very good. I remember in that's more towards the end of his career. I saw Livan. It was 22 or 23 at the time. I ran across him in the Dominican Republic. That was his journey.
On the street or what?
No, he was pitching in the Dominican League, and we were playing there. It was in winter. It was winter ball. And at that time, he was throwing 92, 93.
Yeah.
And I think he had the knuckle curveball, but again, could swing the bat and had a very, very nice career.
Three and 1 to D. Gordon. Marlins would love to get him on here with 2 outs and turn him loose. Try to get something going, somebody in scoring position. Gordon pops it up out into left. That's Cordoba who makes the catch. And Perdomo has retired 7 straight. Halfway through in sunny San Diego. Every Monday this season, a special flash offer of the week will be unveiled. That will be tomorrow, so keep your eyes and ears open. It's the opportunity to save big on tickets, merchandise, and much more. Stay tuned for a special offer. Visit marlins.com/offer for more details. Here in San Diego, Tom Kohler's fastball command has not been tight. And as a result, the Padres have him for 3 runs on 5 hits, including a 2-run homer by Hunter Renfroe. And a strike. Just backtracking on the Livan Hernandez game that I was talking about, it was in 2005. It was an 11-inning game. The Nationals beat the Marlins 3-2. Perdomo swings and misses. So it wasn't a complete game. He went 9 innings, did Livan Hernandez. 9 innings, 7 hits. He threw 150 pitches. That's the last time someone's done it. Since then, only 2 have gone over 140 in a game. That was a Josh Beckett start. Beckett went 8 innings, gave up 2 runs. Perdomo goes down. And that was at RFK. Miami's lineup that day for manager Jack McKeon in 2005. Louis Castillo, Jeff Conine, Carlos Delgado, Miguel Cabrera, Juan Encarnacion, who Jack affectionately called Carcerone. Paul LaDuca was behind the plate. Damian Easley got the start at third. Alex Gonzalez at shorts. And Beckett was the starter. Mike Lowell, Juan Pierre all appeared as pinch hitters.
Well, you know Papa Jack had nicknames for all of us, right?
Well, some of those nicknames were because he couldn't pronounce names to begin with. What was yours?
Well, they were still nicknames.
Right.
No, he just called me Holly. That's what it was. I asked him every day about going to church, going to mass, and smoking cigars. Like checking in with him every day. He told me every day how he prayed for us, and I thought that was really, really nice on his part. He would go to mass every day. He said, "I'm praying for you guys." And it's funny, we got to the end of the season, we found ourselves going deeper and deeper into the postseason, and I would say to Papa Jack, I said, those prayers are being received.
Well, this guy has been a handful for Miami, and that's Manuel Margot. 6 hits, 11 at bats. He is 2 for 2 in this ball game. He swings and misses, and the count full now, 3-2.
That's one of the few wild swings we've seen from Margot in this series. His approach has really been the other way through the middle, staying on pitches. Does have 3 homers though, which tells you he'll let it fly every now and then.
And he's on base for the 3rd time. Second walk issued by Kohler.
Rich, this is the 2-seam fastball that you were talking about, that fastball command, and we've talked a lot of percentage with Tom Kohler today. The inability to really kind of command the strike zone with his fastball, it will get him in trouble as he has to work back out over the plate. And right there, he wants to go fastball away, just can't seem to command the outside corner.
Here is Ibar. Margot was caught stealing back in the 3rd. About the only victory the Marlins have here in this game is the fact that the Padres lost their challenge when they challenged unsuccessfully on the Margot play at second base. He was called out. Padres challenged it, and New York actually confirmed the out call. It was not a call stands. They saw conclusive evidence that he was out. Busy Sunday, as it always is in Major League Baseball. The Phillies, we told you, went back to back to back in 3 consecutive homers to sweep the Braves. And the Phillies are now 9-9 in a 5-2 win over Atlanta. Into right center, Stanton charging in, slides. Did he get it? No, but on his back he throws. Safe at second. And it's going to be a base hit. Acrobatics both in right field with Stanton and Echeverria at second. But Ibar's got a hit, and the Padres have 2 runners on.
Now let's take another look at it. As a right fielder, yeah, I think he might have gotten fooled by that swing a little bit. Happens all the time to an outfielder. You see him short hop it. What you end up doing is drop stepping, because you see the big swing from Ibar. Doesn't get great contact, and you see him short hop it right there. Cost himself a little bit of a step. Almost makes a spectacular play from his backside.
And the Padres are set up now with their best bat, Will Myers, and runners first and second. 1 out. Kohler struck Myers out in the first. He lined out to Ozuna in left in his second at bat.
Be real careful with Will Myers here, off to a fantastic start. He's reached base in 13 consecutive ball games. He's a very aggressive hitter.
Kohler gets a low strike. Dustin McGowan in Miami's bullpen. Ball and a strike. And he got the corner. Myers thought about offering.
Nice pitch right there by Tom Kohler. Most reliable pitch on the afternoon. We've talked to some of the complications with that fastball and the command, but his breaking pitches have actually been good. He's been able to throw it for the wipeout pitch and pick up a few strikeouts, as well as for a strike. You see right there with the curveball.
And that's, you saw the reaction from Myers. That pitch was out. A break for Kohler, a 1-2 coming. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Nibbling with that fastball, but definitely has him set up for the slider in the same spot. Back to the fastball right there.
Watch this play.
Wow.
Kept the beer, protected his date.
Bare hand backhand. Don't say that too often.
No. Don't see that too often. Myers sharply hit. Prado to second. Gordon to first. Nice turn. And a much needed double play. Tom Kohler gets out of the 5th. 3-0 San Diego. Headed to the 6th. Summary. It's actually 3-0 San Diego on top. I thought something looked suspicious there.
Thought I missed something.
I did too. I thought maybe we went to commercial break and the Padres scored a run in the between innings. Martin Prado is up. You got Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton to follow.
And this game's certainly within reach for the Marlins, but for the Padres and Perdomo, they were looking for a lengthy start. They were hoping for a lengthy start off the disabled list, although that's a little up in the air. You just never know what you're going to get.
Prado into center field. And Martin, who had 2 hits last night, has his first hit. Today we check in with Jessica Blaylock.
Hey, Rich, the newest edition of Inside the Marlins is going to premiere tonight, and it's going to focus on the bullpen. The show will take a look at the different skill sets and personalities of all of the relievers. It will also highlight Brad Ziegler's unique delivery, that is, and Dustin McGowan's road to the big leagues and his battle through diabetes. Inside the Marlins, the bullpen will premiere immediately following our Marlins Live postgame show. If you do not catch it tonight, it will re-air multiple times this week. Guys?
All right, we'll make a note of it. Christian Yelich swings and misses. There she is. She's in the bullpen. Are they happy that you promoted the bullpen show there? I mean, I'm sure they could hear your report. So.
Asking me what I was doing back here, and I said I just wanted to come and hang out with the bullpen for a little bit. I never get to come over here.
Well, it's appropriate because you were promoting their show, right?
I know. See? We're thinking, and it came out well.
Very nice. You'd have a tough time getting in the dugout, though, if the show was about hitting.
Yeah, they may frown upon that.
Right. All right. Well, there's a nice little terrace there next to the bullpen.
And there's dogs behind me. This is where you can bring your dogs to the ballpark. So I'm going to hang out here because, are you kidding me? Look at this puppy back here. This is one of the cutest dogs that I've ever seen. So I might just hang out here for the rest of the game.
All right. I don't think there's good food back there, but we'll check in with you later. 3-0 San Diego. Yelich has singled and has walked. Padre bullpen is active. Perdomo, remember, had the shoulder inflammation that put him on the disabled list. This is his first start back, and so this is going to be a quick hook, you would expect.
Christian Yelich has put together the best at bats against Perdomo today. This could be a very key spot to this ball game right here. Martin Prado over at first base, 3-1 count.
And it's in, and Yelich is on his way to first. So a single by Prado, the walk to Yelich. Here is Stanton. Coors brings you a cold, hard fact. Most combined RBIs by outfielders. The Marlins above and beyond the Nationals. Look at the division of the National League East. Right? I mean, 1, 2, 3.
It's pretty amazing. I said it a little bit earlier. Everybody's been hot. I'm not sure if the right way to say it is that even at the same time. So even the potential to do more is there. They obviously hit, all three of them hit very close together, right? 3, 4, and 5 in the lineup. There's even the potential for more if they all start to heat up at the same time.
Stanton now, first and second. And Giancarlo takes a fastball that misses in. Padres are really shifting him to pull on the infield. He bounced to short and struck out against Perdomo. And he dropped to his knee chasing that slider.
It wasn't as much chasing that slider as it was swinging fastball and getting a slider. Fooled by that slider right there. That's what Perdomo has been able to do to a few of the right-handed hitters today. And a couple times to Stanton.
Stanton did not face Perdomo last year.
And there's your effectively wild.
Well, you just saw the slider, top to bottom, work its way down to the low corner, and all of a sudden you get a 97-mile-an-hour two-seam fastball riding in under your chin.
Check swing, no swing. And so a good count here at 3-1. Does he get fastball, or does Perdomo stay with slider?
He's probably going to get fastball just because of the game situation. He's got the lead, 3-0. You see it right there. Marlins are threatening. He's not looking to make more trouble for himself. He wants a ground ball, and that's what he's good at getting. Probably see the two-seamer.
Stan, a broken bat. That's going to flare into center field. Prado round third. He will score. Yelich on his way to third. Stanton with a big turn and an RBI single. Miami is on the board. And we'll see how long Andy Green sticks with Perdomo here.
There you go. You hear that bat crack right there. Beat by it, but Giancarlo Stanton thinking fastball right there, getting a good fastball to hit and dropping it into center field, picking up the RBI. Aggressive base running by Christian Yelich. Good read on that ball.
And the question on how long Andy Green,
not long,
or Andy Reid, if he were here, would stick with Perdomo is not wow. So he's out. It's 3-1. Padres are going to their bullpen. There's nobody out, and Miami threatening in the sixth. Remember, as a Washington National, Craig Stammen. Stammen last year was in the minor leagues. Against the Marlins. This is his 31st appearance against the Fish. He comes in a big spot here in the sixth. Martin Prado single, Christian Yelich walk. RBI single from Giancarlo Stanton. Miami's on the board. And it's Ozuna, Real Muto, and Bohr all lined up.
We're going to see some different stuff from the Stammen that you remembered from his national days. Fastball velocity down a little bit, 90-91. Does throw an awful lot of sliders. Has really been struggling to keep the ball out of the air. You saw the earned run average up over 5. 5 walks and 6 strikeouts. Also struggling with his command.
Ozuna goes after a fastball, and it's a ball and a strike. It's been a frustrating day so far until the sixth. Luis Perdomo, in his 5 innings, as Todd described, effectively wild. 3 walks, but 5 strikeouts. And Miami managed just that run and only 4 hits. But into the Padre bullpen, plenty of baseball left. A good take by Ozuna. He's been chasing that pitch most of the day.
Well, they continue to test his patience on that pitch and have throughout this series. Times has shown the willingness to lay off it, but then that aggressiveness starts to creep back in. Don Mattingly's talked about that here in the early going at times where he gets into a good groove. He's hitting his pitch whenever he wants to. We've seen the long home runs, and then he gets just a little too aggressive at times. Really good at bat right now.
Ed Stammen buries the fastball. So Ozuna now with a 3-1 count. Realmuto and then Bohr. And here comes the 3-1. On the ground and by Myers into right field. Yelich scores. Stanton to third. Ozuna hustling to second. The throw is in time, and he is safe though. Ball's dropped. Everybody's safe. Miami gets another run. And it's a 3-2 ball game.
Doing the little things. I love it. Thinking right along with it. Gets that little slider out over the plate, even though he's ahead in the count, and shoots it the other way. Great piece of hitting right there. Surprises Will Myers. Can't get to the backhand right there. And then the aggressiveness on the bases by everybody. Just enough to get in there. Well done.
And so second and third, still nobody out. And here's Realmuto. Stanton at third base. Ozuna at second. Padres infield creeps in on the right side. And that's a... Did he get a piece of it? No, it's ball one. It goes to the screen. And the count is 1-0. Remember, you got a 20-year-old Rule 5 catcher back there. Now, the Padres are asking if that was a foul tip, because I had the same thought. Realmuto checked his swing. That is not a reviewable play, whether the ball was tipped or not. Here's a look.
I'm playing off.
I think that was tipped.
I don't, because I'm going to go off the catcher's reaction to it, and I think that's what sells it for me is the fact that he pursued the ball as if it wasn't a foul tip.
Realmuto in the left field, a hit. Scoring is Stanton. Ozuna is held, and the Marlins have come back to tie this ball game.
Great to see this big inning start to develop. Will keep developing for the Marlins. My goodness gracious, just feeding off each other right now. Pitch right there out over the plate. Two-seam fastball. Rips it into left field for an RBI single. Marlins have been doing a lot of damage with the long ball, but not this inning. Hustle, aggressiveness, good timely hitting have led to their 3 runs here in the 6th inning.
And now you've got a Justin Bohr at bat against the righty Stammen. On the road, the Fish right near the top of the National League. Bohr has bounced into a fielder's choice and has struck out. You've got Realmuto at first, Ozuna at third.
Well, you heard me talk about it. Craig Stammen has had an issue keeping the ball out of the air in the early going this season. Now, this is a situation here. You don't want to put the ball on the ground. You want to get that ball in the air to the outfield.
Bohr check swing, no swing. And it's 2-0.
It's 2-0 count. One pitch, one spot for Justin Bohr in this situation. It's not about contact. It's about getting your pitch.
Count 2-0. 3 runs in. Runners at the corners. And Bohr chases A 2-0 pitch, and that an illustration of maybe some over-anxious swings.
Well, it's swinging to the count and not swinging to the situation. Remember, it's as simple. There's two thoughts that go on in your mind. I want to be aggressive. It's a 2-0 count. I'm thinking one pitch, one spot, and that's just telling yourself to swing and really not getting to the discipline side of it. Fooled by that pitch, and good he didn't make contact. It would have been bad contact.
That's good contact, deep to right field, and gone. A 3-run shot. Justin Bour, and Miami has a 6-run inning. And that has to feel good for the big guy.
Indeed it does. Justin Bour comes through in a big spot. Runners on first and third right there. Talked about the struggles of Stammen coming into this situation. 2-1 pitch. There's nobody out in the inning, Rich.
No. Still nobody out. All 6 that have come to the plate have scored. Bour knew it. Little bat flip.
Decides to go back in there. That's the pitch he chased prior to and missed. Stammen had it down in the zone. Threw it again. He's able to elevate. My goodness, that ball got out in a hurry. Great swing right there by Justin Bour.
Justin Bour's third. 6-3 Miami, and another pitching change in San Diego. About the 2 swings he had, the 2-0 pitch that he chased, remember? The fastball that was in the dirt. And then the next pitch was to his liking, and he blasted it to right.
Yeah, and sometimes what happens when you do that as a hitter, you beat yourself up, you scold yourself in your mind. You get in there and you get that 2-0 pitch, and you chase out of the zone, and it actually gets you back on point. You've kind of... You're embarrassed is what you feel like. Why did I just chase that pitch down out of the zone on a 2-0 swing? And then all of a sudden it just helps you kind of turn it back on again. You get that dial back in, and then he gets a hanging slider and just crushes it. Goodness gracious. So good to see.
Echeverria now facing Kevin Quackenbush.
Tell you, I got focused back in after that swing.
And certainly if you're a Marlin fan and you're a Marlin, you're enjoying this. Maybe that guy more than anybody, because now Kohler is in line for the win here. And he's got a bat in his hand. There's still nobody out, and it's 2-2 here in the 6th inning. Adeiny Echeverria up. There's Kohler's line. And caught there by Margot. So the first out, and here's Kohler. If you're just happening by, the Marlins were befuddled, frustrated, and shut down by Luis Perdomo for 5 innings. But here in the 6th, Perdomo, who's a Rule 5 pick from last year, gave up a single to Martin Prado. He walked Yelich. Stanton had that broken bat single to center. A quick hook. Perdomo was out. Craig Stammen in. And then, I don't want to use the word escalate because it's thrown out around a lot here in San Diego, but very quickly it got worse for Perdomo.
Well,
Ozuna doubled, Realmuto singled, and Bohr homered.
The at-bats were so much better. I mean, clearly that seems obvious in the 6th inning because they've scored 6 times. But if you go back and you look at the Yelich at-bat, the walk, you go to the Stanton at-bat, deep count, earned the fastball. Remember, he swung 2 sliders earlier today. The at-bats got better, and that's what this is all about. The reason they were able to string this together and feed off each other is because there was a quality at-bat after a quality at-bat after another quality at-bat, and then you got them on the ropes.
I like the way you said that. You earn your fastball.
You do.
It's like the old-fashioned way. A flourish of music on the strikeout of Tom Kohler.
We have to celebrate around here. There's nothing wrong with that.
Some guys have a bat flip. Other guys have music. Gordon digs in. For D, 0 for 3. He takes a breaking ball out.
Going into the Bohr 3-run home run, this Marlins team, and I always listening for the sounds that they give me.
Gordon a ground ball to second. Hold that thought.
I will.
We'll get back to it. Big inning for the Fish. 6-run, 6th inning. For the Padres, bottom 6, Justin Bohr, 3-run homer, finished that inning.
Let's take a look at this at bat, pitch by pitch. You see the 2-seam fastball, takes it for a ball, high in the zone, checks his swing. So everything's going, but you get a little excited on that 2-0 pitch chase. Kind of wakes you up, lock back in, and then you get that slider out over the plate. Does exactly what he wants to do right there, which is get the ball in the air and hard. Well, guess what? He gets a 3-run homer to go along with it because he can. He's got that kind of power. Let me finish that one thought. Like I said, I was talking to a few hitters throughout this series. One thing that this offense has been so proud of runners in scoring position. They are second in the National League with a .288 batting average, and they lead all of baseball with runners in scoring position with 8 home runs. I'm telling you, this is something they talked about in spring training and have really worked on. And you see in that last inning, single, walk, single, double, single, homer. I mean, unbelievable. We've got an updated number for you after that barrage there in the 6th inning. 306, 288s. They've improved.
Liner to center. Yelich is there, and he makes the catch, and Solarte lines out. And this is kind of typical of Tom Koehler on a day where he doesn't have his best stuff, just trying to hang in there. He got popped for a 2-run homer by Hunter Renfroe. His wife Ashley and his family. There were many Koehler jerseys walking around San Diego. And so a good family representation here. And Koehler now working in the 6th. He's got an out.
You heard me earlier throw out the phrase weather the storm, and that's in a lot of ways what you do. We've talked about it. Is this Tom Koehler's best? Well, it could be. He may finish really strong, and certainly that's what you're hoping he does. But what he was kind of battling through, he kept the Marlins in this game. Things could have gone in a long, in a different direction. Remember how this game started. Margot once again, base hit the other way. Solarte comes up with a big base hit. They've got a run on the board. And then we watch Perdomo lock in against this Marlins team. And he's pitching in a way that didn't really get many of us thinking that the Marlins were about ready to break out. So what does Tom Koehler have to do? He has to make pitches, keep this thing close despite his fastball command not being necessarily the best. He's used his breaking ball really, really well in this ball game, and he's kept them within shot. You see the score now, 6-3 Marlins.
Got him outside corner. All of a sudden the fastball command is there, and Koehler gets 2 outs here in the 6th.
See Tom Koehler, some of his highest velocity of the day here. 81st pitch of the outing, just kind of teased it up out there on the outside corner at 94 miles an hour. And Renfroe said, where'd that come from?
Big breaking ball misses to Sardinas. The switch hitting third baseman for the Padres. And it's funny how, look, the focus is on the 6-run inning, right? Because it was 3-0, and the 6-run inning jumps right off the box score page or the scoreboard line score. But remember, Koehler got a double play from Will Myers to get out of the 5th and keep it at 3-0.
Big spot right there. Will Myers, their most dangerous hitter. The ground ball. Offense picked him up.
Another breaking ball. And it's 2-2. 86 pitches for Koehler. And he got him. Sardinas strikes out. Real Muto throws him out, and Koehler goes 1-2-3. His team has handed him the lead. And Koehler protects it in the 6th. Aircraft carriers, submarines. They got it all going on this Military Sunday here at Petco Park. Tom Kohler, Juan Nieves, and it looks like Kohler's day is done. 7 strikeouts. A lot of stress along the way. He had traffic and base runners and stuff going on for sure. Free T-shirt Friday. Say that 5 times fast.
Can't.
Select Friday home games. First 7,000 fans will get a special Marlins T-shirts, different theme with each Friday. Go to Marlins.com for tickets and information. This is the guy that started the 6-run 6th, Martin Prado. Singled up the middle. Quackenbush, fastball for a strike. Quackenbush, who's sported that Duck Dynasty beard for a while here in the major leagues. The Padres at one point had like 4 or 5 guys that had the same beard.
Would it be fair to say that the beard and Quackenbush kind of all go together?
Sure. The camo jersey.
Camo as well.
I see it. Four seasons with the Padres. See, now that just sets all the camera folk searching for other cast members for Duck Dynasty that are here.
I wonder if his last name is Quack in Bush.
And Prado goes down on a breaking ball. Quackenbush gets a strikeout. Prado a disagreement. And up comes Christian Yelich. There's your strike box. There's the call, and that's why Prado wasn't happy.
There's a name for that, partner. You know what the name of that is? It's called the Sunday Afternoon Strike Zone. You ever heard of it? You just saw it.
Does it
gets big?
It gets big?
It does get big.
Yelich takes a strike, couple walks, and a single. Oh, and 2. Game tonight, Citi Field, Nationals and Mets. We told you the Phillies have swept the Braves. A 5-2 Philly win. Marlins are headed to see the Phillies. David Phelps in Miami's bullpen. Justin McGowan was up earlier. Yelich sprays that ground ball in the hole at short. Backhanded by Ibar. Never going to get him. Ibar was shifted towards second, so all of his momentum was headed towards the third base line or shallow left field.
Now you see it right there, the shift. Playing him more up the middle, goes to the backhand, but once Christian Yelich starts long striding down that first base line, you got no shot at getting him. Yelich picks up his second hit of the day. He's perfect. A couple walks, a couple knocks.
You got Giancarlo Stanton now 1 for 3, RBI single, 6 runs knocked in the series. Stanton. Little chopper, that's trouble. Stanton's going to beat it. And he's got a hit. So Yelich and Stanton don't leave the infield. And they get a couple of singles. to get something rolling here in the 7th, and up comes Ozuna.
You see it right off the end of the bat right there, but to no man's land, playing the heavy shift all the way around and deep on that side of the infield. Giancarlo Stanton is putting it where they are not right now. I think back to that base hit to center field as well when he broke his bat. So that's 2 hits in a row for him.
Ozuna shot that double down the right field side. Quackenbush a fastball for a strike. Ball that seemed to get by or get under the glove of Myers on the backhand side, and Ozuna hustled into second, ended up getting a double and knocking in a run. Oh, and 2.
You think back to that inning, that 6th inning. You see this pitch right here, just on the outside corner. Seen some looks here over the last couple innings at that Sunday afternoon strike zone.
High fastball. Ooh.
Getting back to that point I wanted to make, the approach from Marlins hitters is really what got this thing going. You think Prado based it up the middle, Yelich took a walk, Stanton went up the middle, Ozuna went the other way against Perdomo, who had their number through the first 5 innings.
Swing and a miss, and Ozuna strikes out. Quackenbush, second strikeout of the inning. And Real Muto now trying to squeeze something out of this 7th. Marlins have the Pirates next weekend at Marlins Park, and the Pirates got a terrific game from former Yankee Ivan Nova to beat the Yankees and take that series 2-1 in Pittsburgh today. Real Muto, a little tapper. This is going to be a close play, and he's out. So the Marlins leave 2. 7th inning stretch arrives here in San Diego. What a glorious day. And of course, Sundays here in San Diego are military days. A lot of great salutes. We've had some great footage from in and around San Diego. And let's all pause whatever we're doing and join here in San Diego for God Bless America.
Operations Squadron Staff Sergeant Dejan Verget. Please sing along as he presents God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Air Force Staff Sergeant Dejan Verget.
This was a 3-0 Padres lead all the way into the 6th. Toyota gives you our inside look. Most players used since 2015. The Braves 108, Seattle 97, but the Padres are right there at 94. Marlins in the middle of the pack in Major League Baseball. The Cardinals the fewest.
Well, you see right there, the top 3 right there. Couple of teams, 3 teams in transition. I mean, it's as simple as that. Jerry DiPoto, the Mariners putting together a contender. The Padres, the Braves trying to rebuild.
All right, speaking of rebuilding, David Phelps trying to rebuild his success that he had last year. This year's not been a great one. And Phelps with a fastball that misses up. What have you seen from Phelps? What in your mind have been his issues?
Well, I can give you one answer. I mean, throw better strikes. That's really what it comes down to. It's not his stuff.
To right field, Stanton back. And Cordova flies out for the first out here in the 7th.
This is the numbers right there. 64 games last year, 5 starts, obviously. You see the saves. He kind of was a jack of all trades, but what you get as that 2.28 ERA, meaning he did it all and did it very effectively. You also see the whip. Now, what's the biggest difference? Actually, he's got a better strikeout rate right now. He's got a better walk rate. He's walking fewer hitters, but he's getting hit hard. Batting average and balls in play coming into this outing today was 286. Last year in 2016, this year, it's up near 500, 467. Now, what does that tell you? He's got to throw better strikes.
Gordon out, Stanton in, and Stanton makes the catch.
It's as simple as that, partner. I mean, you think back to the homer he gave up the other night to Hedges. He made really one bad pitch in the sequence. You say, oh, well, it's the pitch that got hit out. Well, it's a cutter that ended up right down the middle of the plate in a 2-strike count. What does that tell you? It's a hitter who's looking to defend the strike zone. He's actually thinking more in swing mode. I've got 2 strikes. I've got to defend. And he makes the worst pitch. He actually gets out over the middle of the plate. So what does it do? It gets hit for a 3-run home run. So here's Austin Hedges, we just referred to. But the point is that what I've seen from Phelpsy, and if you go look at his numbers and his fastball velocity, he's actually throwing harder this year than he did last year. There are good numbers that tell you this won't last long. That's what I believe in, and it really, to me, comes down to throwing better strikes. He's just got to avoid that mistake that seems to be haunting him right now. You see already 93, 95, the cutter. You haven't seen it yet, by the way, and I still think that might be a little bit of a work in progress. If I was going to pick one pitch and say, okay, well, what's the one he's got to work on? It's definitely his cut fastball, because that's the one that's actually getting left out a little bit. But the point is, everybody, Marlins fans, be encouraged. David Phelps has it. He has not lost it. He is not a different pitcher. He's just kind of going through a thing right now. And maybe it ends today, and maybe that's just it. I thought this was a brilliant spot to get him in the ballgame. Bottom of the Padres lineup, get his confidence going. Had the day off yesterday, and maybe get him moving in the right direction.
Well, he's got 2 outs. And a breaking ball misses outside to Hedges. Austin Hedges, an interesting player. When the Marlins see the Padres again, curious to see how Hedges has done in his rookie season. This is a highly touted catcher that was drafted out of high school, Southern California, San Juan Capistrano. That's a strike. Or so says the home plate umpire, Paul Emmel. You can hear the crowd's reaction. It is a strike.
Of course it is. You can't start complaining about it now.
At the letters.
This way all day.
At the letters and on the corner.
You see the velocity right there. The last 2 pitches from Phelps, 95 miles an hour, 96 miles an hour. This is not somebody who's lost it. This isn't somebody who's transitioning. He has merely been in a early season slump. Best way to say it.
Padres will visit Miami at the end of August. A weekend series, 25th, 26th, and 27th. Mark your calendars. It's Bark at the Park. And a really nice inning for David Phelps. That's encouraging in a 6-3 Miami lead. Mark McGwire, because he's now managing this team. This is what happened. See, Paul Emmel and Andy Green comes out from the dugout. And so that was it. He's been ejected. Here is Justin Bour. So McGwire, who has gone from hitting coach with the Dodgers to bench coach here with the Padres, managing right now. Bour, who had a enormous home run and a stylish bat flip, is facing Miguel Diaz. Diaz misses count 1 and 2.
Interesting how, of course, this game has turned. Maybe Green getting ejected right there. I've seen that many times, and it's the momentum that has been lost inside the baseball game. Remember, Perdomo started this game and was in total control. There's no discrepancies from either side about the strike zone. It hasn't opened up. I did kind of hint at the Sunday afternoon strike zone, but it's been very consistent all afternoon. And it's been a wide strike zone.
Diaz strikes out Bour. Hitters right now dealing with the shadows on the plate. You can see that tower. They have 2 light towers with little suites built into them on either side, and that one is across the plate. Mound is still in sunshine. Here's Echevarria. I know it's Military Sunday. They should call it Rule 5 Sunday, because the Padres have 3 Rule 5 guys for this year on their roster. Perdomo was a Rule 5 guy last year, and they've all appeared in the game.
Yes.
Because Diaz is one of those guys as well. Echevarria pops it up. And he makes the catch. And you know what? I'll bet you what we saw and heard from Andy Green is a little bit of that frustration that he's got to be feeling. It's a game. Look, if you're going to have Rule 5 guys and that many of them as Ichiro gets set to come in, you're going to have to play them.
what happens in what I was alluding to is, and I've seen this many times, is the tone of the game early. The Padres had the lead, and his starter was in a great spot, to your point about the Rule 5 and how quickly it escapes and goes away. The Marlins put together 3 really quality at-bats at the front end of the 6th inning. Perdomo's out of the ball game. Bullpen blows up a little bit, and now you're down 6-3.
Ichiro, who doubled the other night, getting an at-bat here. Changeup, Ichiro way out in front. Not a lot of games here for Ichiro, although interleague play found Seattle and San Diego paired up a lot. Rolls that out to second base. And Diaz goes 1-2-3 to the fish in the 8th. Around in San Diego. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. Well, the goal for the Marlins at the start of the day, obviously win the ball game, win the series, and it didn't look good for the first 5 innings, did it?
It did not. Perdomo settled in, was making pitches, but Tom Kohler kept his team in a ball game, and I think that's the key to this one. When you look back and you say, well, things weren't going right, things could have really unraveled, and they did in Seattle his last time out. Tom Kohler settled in, kept his team, gave his team a shot. Offense responded there in the 6th inning, and now they're on top by 3.
Yeah, big 6-run, 6th inning for Miami, and plenty of hits in that inning. A lot of heroes. You've got Brad Ziegler coming in. He's got the top of the order. And Ziegler, professional strike thrower. Scouts were talking about how much they admire a guy like Ziegler who knows exactly what he's doing in a high leverage spot. Just gets his pitches over, gets outs on the ground, and he's got one here to open up the 8th inning. Another thing to be encouraged with, David Phelps, a scoreless inning in the 7th. Eric Ibar, the hitter now. .45 appearances in his career now against the Padres for Ziegler. Many of those wearing the Sedona red of the Diamondbacks.
Uniform may have changed, but the game plan has not. Lots of sinkers, changeups, sliders, all from underneath.
Those are those career numbers.
Ziegler, a very successful closer when used in the role.
Well, in this day and age, obviously, you can never have enough guys who have closed or have that experience. Bouncer, Ziegler has it, flips to first. 2 batters, 2 ground ball outs. It's who he is, it's what he does. And here comes Will Myers. The day in baseball for all but one game is coming to a close. Dodgers have a 6-2 lead in Arizona in the 9th. Myers clubs one into left. Arizona picks it up. 2-out single. We told you the Phillies are at 500 now with their win over Atlanta 5-2. Tonight, Nationals and Mets in New York. And here is Solarte. The Reds beat the Cubs 7-5. It was turn back the clock day there in Cincinnati because Bronson Arroyo was pitching and he beat the Cubs. That's a foul ball.
That matchup. John Lackey and Bronson Arroyo.
How about the Rockies? The Bud Black-led Colorado Rockies shut out the Giants 8-0. You don't get too many shutouts at Coors Field. The Giants are now 6-13. Or excuse me, Giants are 6-13. Ball in the air. And Gordon makes the catch. Brad Ziegler. A scoreless 8th. From World War II. Great military town. Always a pleasure to come here. MLB At Bats. It's the #1 mobile app for live Major League and Marlins baseball. Stay connected, fully customizable experience. You get home screen icon, app features, game day, video highlights, radio broadcast, StatCast news, Todd Hollandsworth's bio, and all of that on MLB.com. That's down the right field line. D. Gordon's going to run a ways. D. Gordon's thinking 3. D. Gordon's going to get 3 easily. Renfroe's throw scoots away, and Gordon holds at third base with a triple. His first of the season.
You're going to see D at his best. Kind of feathers one into the corner. This wasn't a ringing shot. It settles down into the right field corner, and because the velocity's not on the ball itself, it just kind of was come get me. Your right fielder has to go over there all the way into the corner and dig it out. And then you get to see one of the fastest men in baseball easily get into third base.
And the infield comes in for the Padres. Nice run to add with Prado, Yelich, and Stanton all lined up against Miguel Diaz. Prado a single, 4 trips. Yelich has 2 hits and 2 walks. Stanton has 2 hits and an RBI. And he couldn't hold up. AJ Ramos near the Marlins pen. Little roller towards short, and the throw from Ibar is in time to get Prado. D. Gordon, Freddie Gonzalez. Infield's drawn in. There's no way on that ball that you're going to try to score, even if you're D. Gordon.
Oh, but D did a nice job trying to, force Ibar into an errant throw right there. Just got off third base and I don't want to say taunted him a little bit, but a couple steps towards home just to keep him honest.
Try to distract him
a little bit.
Yelich in an RBI spot, infield in, less than 2 outs, runner at third. This is that round of batting practice where everybody takes their turn trying to get a run home without hitting a ground ball out.
Draw that infield in. Makes all big league hitters about 100 points better. They're able to get themselves into swinging at the pitch they want. That's always the key. We talked about it. Justin Bour's at bat when he worked himself into, I don't want to call it a bad situation, but definitely chased a bad pitch. 2-0, 2-1. Concentration is clearly better. Got a pitch to hit that big 3-run home run. 2-0 pitch here to Yelich.
That's a strike. Well, we told you Diaz is a Rule 5 guy, and like the others, not a lot of experience in the minor leagues at a high level. Last year he was at Single-A Wisconsin and made 15 starts, and that's it. Was in rookie ball before that. Yelich flips that to left, hits it pretty deep. Cordoba's back and makes a running catch on the track, and that's going to score Gordon. So a nice at bat and a really nice day by Yelich at the plate. 2 walks, 2 hits, and now a sacrifice fly.
Let's take a look at this one more time. Remember, the 2-0 pitch was a 2-seam fastball under his hands. Now, listen, Diaz throws the ball pretty hard, decides to go back to that pitch, but Christian Yelich does a good job getting a pitch he can handle. Always the key to those situations. Gets the long fly ball to left and picks up the big RBI.
Stanton now faces the 22-year-old. And that may have been a foul tip. The home plate umpire, Paul Emmel, or maybe Stanton, swung at it. He called a swing on that pitch. And that fastball is a called strike as well. Look at that. That was out as well. Two balls, 2 strikes. Well, Diaz thought he had a strike, was walking towards the dugout. 98 miles an hour on that fastball.
Certainly understandable. Giancarlo Stanton doing a really good job of not falling for the strike zone, and that's the best way to say it right now. We showed you the pitch tracks right there.
That's substantially outside.
Yes, all the pitches this at bat have been.
Stanton, a bullet into center field. He straightened that thing out in a hurry, didn't he?
Oh my! You know what? What an at bat! That's just a big time at bat right there for Giancarlo Stanton. You say, you know what? That's one of those things that gets lost in a 7-3 ball game. But I'll tell you what, you factor in the shadows right there. That's a great piece of hitting right there. Didn't fall victim just because he got down in the count on a couple of pitches outside the strike zone. Stayed with his game plan right there. Picks up a late game knock to center field.
Stanton has himself at 300 after a 3-for-5 day here. Ozuna dribbles it to the right side. Diaz is there to get it. And the inning is over. Miami adds a run and goes to the bottom of the ninth in San Diego, up 7-3. West, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jeep, get great deals on the Jeep lineup at the Jeep Spring Clearance event, and by your South Florida Honda dealers. 7-3, Marlins on top of the Padres, 3 outs to get. Marlins Live postgame is coming up. Highlights from this one. Craig Minervini, Jeff Nelson in the studio, Jessica Blaylock here. Justin Bohr will be her guest. And then don't forget, after Marlins Live, inside the Marlins, the bullpen. And I'm sure A.J. Ramos will be featured on that. Here is Ramos out of the pen. Hunter Renfroe is the hitter. Luis Sardinas and Alan Cordoba for the Padres. Renfroe, a 2-run homer against Tom Kohler. And a high pop. Yelich calling and makes the catch. And A.J. Ramos. Listen, Yelich, you know, Ozuna was headed in that direction just in case Yelich lost it in the sun. Watch the sun in the sunglasses, the glare for Yelich here.
Having a good time out there. Nothing wrong with that.
Here is Sardinas. Marlins bullpen in this one. David Phelps an inning. Brad Ziegler an inning. And Ramos here trying to close the door. This was a Tom Kohler start. And you think back on the starts for the Marlins in this series. Nice play in the seats. Adam Conley, 6 innings, a run, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Dan Straley punched out 14. Straley went 7 innings, gave up 2 earned runs. And Kohler, even though he wobbled early, ended up going 6, gave up the 3 runs. Kohler had 7 strikeouts. So the starting pitching pretty good here. A 2.84 ERA in this series. Look at that. That was a great backhand play by a Marlins fan.
No surprise there.
He's got the Marlins blue alternate jersey. I believe
great
for the home run hitting contest and the workout for the All-Stars. One of the jerseys is red-orange, and the other is that Marlins blue. Bouncer finds Gordon on to first in time, and Ramos has got the second out.
Which color would you prefer? Which color would you had your choice?
Well, today I am wearing the Marlins blue dress shirt.
No, I'm talking about if you were in the home run derby. Which color did you want to wear?
I'd like to be a National League, and I'm not sure which league gets
well, neither
which.
do I. That's why I'm trying to get you to commit to a color here. Which color do you like better?
I like the blue. I go blue.
Yes, I'm kind of more of the orange. The orange.
Okay,
guy.
you go red orange.
I like that red orange.
I'll go Marlin blue.
There you go.
Cordoba is 1 for 3. There's a look at it. Padres head to Arizona. Marlins are headed to Philly with an off day tomorrow and a 3-gamer that starts on Tuesday night. Yikes. Not much fun with the sunshine and the shadows.
It's part of it. Gee, Ramos ramping it up today. Some velocity. Pitch before this one right here, 95 miles an hour. That right there at 94, so he's feeling pretty good coming out of the bullpen. Late afternoon on Sunday in San Diego.
Hit hard. Oh, Prado, ball game.
Why not?
And what a nice way to end it. Martin Prado, who had the big defense last night, finishes the Sunday in San Diego. And Miami is going to take a series win with them to Philly as they beat the Padres 7-3. A 6-run 6th inning is the difference in this ball game. Marlins come charging back to win it 7-3. Lot going on still. Marlins live post game. Jessica from the field. Justin Bohr interview, and then inside the Marlins, the bullpen. It's all coming up. We're back in San Diego after this.